So now that we know how to find our p's and q's with the rational root theorem, well, what do we do once we have this list? Well, if f of your value of p over q is equal to 0, it is a 0. So all you have to do is plug in your p over q into your function, and if you get a remainder of 0, then it is a 0 of the function and you have a starting point. So for this example, we're going to start with a list of the possible rational zeros. So we're going to do our p's divided by our q's. So factors of 20 would be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 4 and 5. And of course, their opposites. Factors of the leading coefficient, well, leading coefficient is 1, so it's going to be this whole list divided by 1. So here is my entire list. It's just going to be the same set of numbers. And there are 6 that I see, but their opposites means there's a total of 12 I have to check. So we got 2 choices now to proceed. We can do synthetic division over and over with these total of 12 numbers and see which one has a remainder of 0. Or you could use your calculator and use direct substitution. I'm thinking that a calculator is probably easier in this scenario. So I'm going to show you how to store a value on your graphing calculator. So on my graphing calculator app, I start by typing in my function. I'm going to use the x next to the green alpha key. So x cubed minus 8x squared plus 11x plus 20. And if I hit enter, I'm going to get some random value. I got 0. You might get a decimal because it all depends on what's stored for x in the background of the calculator. So to store a value for x, what I do is I first pick my value, which is, I'm going to check the number 1. So I'm going to hit 1, and I'm going to store that for x. So STO is on the lower left side of the calculator, and it puts that arrow. I hit enter, and I get 1, because 1 is now the value of x. So then what I do is I go up and I just move my cursor on top of that previous x cubed that I typed in, and I hit enter, and now it evaluated the function using x equals 1, and I get a remainder of 24. So that tells me that 1 is not a 0. So now I type in -1 for x, changing the value, and I recopy the previous function, and I get a value of 0. So what does that tell me? It tells me that when I plug in -1 in place of x, the remainder is 0, so -1 is a 0. Now I could sit here and type it in the old way, -1 to the third power minus 8 times -1, but there I made a typo already, and that takes me more time. So I just like to use the store feature, and I encourage you to use it as well. So I know that one of my zeros for a starting point would be x equals -1. So I could then do my synthetic division from that point. So second example, I'm going to begin by listing my p's and my q's and the ratio of p's divided by q's. So let's see up here. First of all, the p's are factors of 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, and 3 and 6, and their opposites. Factors of q would be 1 and 2. So my factors of p divided by q would be the whole list of 1, 2, 3, 6, and 9. And 18, and then I'm going to have to divide that list by 2. So this is a bigger list. It's going to have 1/2. 2 over 2 would reduce to 1. 3 halves. 6 over 2 reduces to 3. I already have that. 9 halves. And 18 halves would be 9, and that's already in my list. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and double that, 18 possible places where I could have zeros. If this function has a 0, it's guaranteed to be in this list. So I'm going to start checking them by storing the value in my calculator. So I begin by typing in my function. Remember, use the x next to the alpha key. So 2x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 18. And I'm going to store my first value of 1 for x. I'm going to arrow up and copy my function. Once I'm on top of it, I'm going to hit enter. There, and now I hit enter again, and I get -16. That means when I plug in negative or positive 1, I got -16, so it's not a 0. Now I'm going to store -1. Go up, copy my function again, hit enter. I get negative 18, so negative 1 is not 1. So I'm going to try 2. 2 stored for x, enter. Go up, copy my function, so I don't have to retype it again. Hit enter, and yes, I got 0. So that means that 2, when I plug it in, gives me a remainder of 0. So that is a 0 of the function. So one possible 0 here was 2. So I could do synthetic division to find the rest of the zeros. In our third example, again, list out your P's and Q's. So my factors of 15 for the constant would be 1, 3, 5, and 15. Factors of 6 would be 1, 2, 3, and 6. And now my ratio of P divided by Q would be, let's see, this list is going to be quite a bit bigger. So dividing by 1 would produce this list again. So I'm going to put plus or minus out front, 1, 3, 5, and 15. But then I got to divide through by 2. So that's going to be 1 half, 3 halves, 5 halves, and 15 halves. And then I'm going to divide through by 3. So that's 1/3. 3/3 reduces to 1, but 5/3 and 15 over 3 would reduce to 5. And then lastly, I'm going to divide through by 6. So dividing through by 6 would be 1/6. 3 over 6 would reduce to 1 half, but 5/6. 15 over 6 would reduce to 3 halves. So there's my entire list. So this is a much bigger list, which, may be looking like a lot of work, but when you're using the store feature on your calculator, it's really not bad. So pause the video and see if you can find one that works. So when I do this using the store feature, I get x equals -3 as a 0. Perhaps you found something else. There are others. There are 2 others. 1 half works, and so does -5/3. So it can be a little bit tedious, but if you appreciate it from the perspective of you would have an infinite amount of values, and René Descartes' theorem narrows it down to a workable list. With a little help from technology, it's not bad at all.